Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Telecast TV. I'm Mira Gangala. You're watching a conversation with Bwala, presidential spokesperson of President Tinubu. He spoke about the lies told by Kaduna State government concerning the abduction of worshippers in church, and also speaking about the federal government blaming iPod for originating Christian genocide in Nigeria. And we also discussed about the presidential stand in Rivers State, about the crisis between Governor Sim and Rivers State House of Assembly, which are backed up by former Governor Wike, the current minister for FCT. And he spoke about Peter Obi not going to win the 2027 presidential election. Endeavor to like, comment, share your thoughts. Don't miss trendy videos.
Hello and welcome to Hard Copy from our channel's television studios in Abuja. I'm Kayla Megwa. The line between saving face and saving lives has been crossed again. And frankly, this time someone has to be made an example of. When kidnappings happen to our people or our people are killed, why is the rush by some government agencies, the need to save face, play down the severity of the situation, to stop panic? Okay, then the truth comes out. One, your credibility is shattered. And two, you've made a fresh set of enemies. Those who were mourning the death or kidnap of their loved ones because you didn't show empathy. Then a few days later, you're asking for the loyalty and patriotism of these same people. Good luck with that. Meanwhile, the presidency is still blaming IPOB for originating what they're calling the Christian genocide propaganda in Nigeria. A propaganda which allegedly necessitated the payment of $9 million to a U.S. lobbying firm to manage perceptions of its response to violence against Christian communities. And then there's the New York Times article about Emeka, a screwdriver salesman who, the paper says, was the source behind the intelligence used in collaborations, this collaborative attack in Sokoto last December, just last year. Then we have politics. We've heard where the APC stands, but where does the presidency stand in the River State drama? My guest mocks Peter Obi every Eke Market day for changing parties frequently and has said he will not get the ADC ticket. But a federal high court in Abuja has said that Nanadi Sambo's led Labour Party is the substantive one. And we all know how close that faction of the party is to Peter Obi. They may take him back if he doesn't get the ADC ticket. Is the Tinubu administration prepared for Tinubu versus Peter Obi 2.0? Daniel Bwala, presidential spokesperson, joins us tonight on Hard Copy. Daniel Bwala, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And welcome again to Hard Copy.
Thank you. This is 2026.
The year of politics, and you have been talking.
Thank you.
Let's start off with, and before we even start, I think it's time to thank you because of the presidential spokespeople. When we call on you, you're one of the few people that answers immediately, and we have seen that with the CNN interview. In fact, I think you have a special on Amapo next month. So you've been everywhere talking about this government. Is it a difficult job to do to defend the Tinubu administration?
For me, it's as easy as playing football when I was young, because when you are a messenger or a spokesperson, the key thing is you should know the principle and you know the message. If you don't have knowledge of the principal, understanding his body language, because there are times you will be called upon to react to issues when you have not yet met him, to know what his opinion is.
Yes.
But if you have studied him enough and have had considerable time with him, you will have an idea of where he stands. Every given time that you have to talk to the people in the media, remember, you are not talking to them, you are talking to Nigerians. So
let's talk about this Christian genocide propaganda. That's what you've been calling. I watched a video from you recently. And even though I got what the message of the video was, it kind of rubs off a little harsh on the people who have considered themselves or who are victims of what they believe to be a genocide against them.
Because I engage with the large communities of interest in respect to this field, I can tell you that authoritatively that most of the times when you hear the victims expressing such frustration, they're expressing what they are told to believe that it is a Christian genocide. The concern of people who are victimized is to end that insecurity. Is for them not to have their families killed.
So you think someone is taking advantage of their grief?
Yes. Yeah, sure.
To what end?
I just told you about the amplification by IPOB that the killings in Nigeria were motivated by religious sentiment. Take, for example, you mentioned Yelwata. If you, as journalists, do a little more of investigation, you'll find that there are conflicts in that part of the country that sometimes has been between members of the same clan.
Community, true.
Yeah, communal
Over the years, yes.
But the picture portrayed for every insecurity in that place is a genocide against Christians, because it's convenient to say that because the people in that state predominantly are Christians. So take, for example, if you apply this same case scenario with a place like Zamfara, where you see killings as well in similar proportion, right? Or even if it is not as voluminous as that one, you know, in this case, but it's similar. Why are they not saying there is a genocide of Muslims? You get the point?
I understand.
Because it is still killing, and the larger population of those who are suffering there as there. But if you don't tag a name that will be politically suitable to drive an agenda, then you cannot get international attention.
Is it an agenda that has cost the government $9 million?
You see, first of all, it's not even $9 million to begin with. And then secondly, it is really intriguing that even the opposition, I heard the other day, the new spokesman for the ADC, who sometimes says something before he thinks, now came up and said that engaging lobbies is wrong and all that. He may do well to ask his principal. If there's anybody who believes in that concept very well, it's his principal.
But just so we're clear, these lobbyists were engaged by the Tinubu administration. Sure. You say it's not $9 million. Some people say it's 4.5 million, but it's renewable every 6 months.
Those who have seen the document registered with the Department of State can tell that. But what is the key issue there? The key issue is what we call practice and procedure, right? In the United States of America. There are partner countries, like, for example, the United Kingdom. You look at the state of Israel, and you look at most of these advanced countries. They have lobbyists in Washington, D.C. on behalf of their government.
Wouldn't it have been easier to get an ambassador? What's the hold-up?
So in the UDC, in England and the rest of the world is different, but in the United States of America, the way it runs, even with the U.S. citizens and government, they still engage lobbyists.
So even if we had an ambassador, we would still need lobbyists.
All countries that are relating with the United States that have lobbyists have ambassadors.
So are we getting the bang for our buck? Is our money working?
Definitely. You know, the journey started with the presidential directive for me to go and engage with the Western world, if you recall. And we achieved marked success, which brought us to the table. And then in order to further that conversation, it came up with these dynamics. But before then, it was not like that. And we knew it. How did we know? For example, in those days, anything that happens in Africa, the Western media rely on correspondence they have in those countries or sometimes third-party information. And they blow it. And oftentimes, agenda is driven along that line. And President, in his usual wisdom, he now felt nobody can tell the story better than us. And he said, go and speak to the Western media. And I can tell you, because if you check CNN, Reuters, Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, AP, BBC, Sky News, all of them, as soon as we return, because of that engagement, their findings is that they agree with us.
Has the New York Times ever reached out to you?
Yeah, they have.
Did you do the interview?
Yes, I've granted interview.
Or for the Tinubu administration?
Yes, under the Tinubu administration.
Because the story that we're getting from the New York Times, and for those who don't quite know how we owe the magazine people, I always had a copy of the New Yorker with me.
Which is different
from the New York Times.
Right.
So the New York Times came up with this, and the New Yorker just finished celebrating the anniversary, by the way. But back to the New York Times. They did this crazy story that I'm still scratching my head about this story about Emeka the screwdriver seller.
No, it's not a story.
Is this real?
It's real. Let me tell you.
But the argument that people have had is that this was poor journalism on the part of the New York Times.
Why?
Because in their rhetoric, in many ways, some people have said, was against Donald Trump. So one of the plans would be to make it look like the intelligence that you used to do an airstrike in another country came from an unverified source.
So what do
but
you
in the midst of doing that, you've created a problem for Emeka and for the Southeast.
No. But what do you talk about Washington Post, which is also owned by somebody who is supportive of Donald Trump? They have, in fact, have granted Washington Post interview. As a matter of fact, yesterday I was also on communication. In Nigeria, a Washington Post journalist arrived in Nigeria yesterday, and I think they're in the office of the NSA, covering this U.S. Nigeria committee, right? And she is there. They reported also, this is Washington Post, owned by Jeff Bezos, if I'm not mistaken, who is now sympathetic of Donald Trump. They also said it's a hoax. So you see,
they say the Christian genocide is a hoax.
Yes, they said there's no evidence to substantiate.
Is it that you agree with the New York Times story that the concept was from?
It's not only I agreed. I had said it before them. All you need to do is look at the interview I granted Seun Okimbaloye. You have it in your archive, in which I came with the report of the IPOB. And I mentioned his name. He is the author of that report.
Who? Emeka?
Yes, who is the
screwdriver seller?
No. The founder of Civil Liberties for Human Rights. That is International Society for Civil Liberties and Human Rights, or whatever. It is that organization that the New York Times referred to. It is that organization that wrote that report in August and updated it in September. It is that report. If you play the shows on any time, if you edit this program, you could have it and play, where I read out the things they said. And New York Times affirmed that, one, their sources. If you are talking about research and reporting, you have to look at data. You look at how the sampling was done. You look at how the survey was done and who are the people that provided the source information. He admitted that most of the sources from where he got the information are people he could not verify. As a matter of fact, as an organization, in his own report, I'm not talking about what we wrote, in his own report, he has little or nothing report that came from them. They were all secondary and third-party sources. Now, and then when you look at the same report and you look at his impression about IPOB and ESM from the first page to the last page, he refused to admit that there was an ESM and that they killed people in the Southeast. As a matter of fact, what he said in that same report, he said that the killings in the Southeast were perpetrated by the Nigerian security forces and under the pretext that they are saving the Nigerian people against ESM, and that because ESM is affiliated to Israel, so as to draw the sympathy of the Israeli. That was the report that Ted Cruz referred to. And Ted Cruz was the one that amplified it and got other congressmen, on the basis of which the president...
But the Minister of Foreign Affairs told us that airstrike on Christmas Day in Sokoto, that the intelligence and the collaboration was the Nigerian government and the United States
You're missing
government.
it. You're missing the point.
Okay. Where are we missing this?
Good. The information provided by the screwdriver or the inter-society was not what led to the strike. Was what laid the foundation for the hoax narrative that there is a Christian genocide.
I see.
Which started long ago, and then Nigeria was, what do you call this name?
Country of
designated country of particulars, and then on and on and on and on. And then we now had to sit down together with the U.S. In other words, we have differences. You think it's a Christian genocide. We say it is not. But we have area of agreement. You are against terrorism. We are against terrorism. So let us leave our differences and focus on where we agree, which is joint fight against terrorism, on the basis of which we then started to deep in our collaboration. And you know there was visit by the Congress delegation here. You know there were exchanges in terms of intelligence from both parties. You also know there was money released for Nigeria to help in the fight against insurgency. As I speak to you right now, there is a meeting going on somewhere between the delegation of the Nigerian delegation and the U.S. counterpart in deepening that. So because we developed a relationship with the United States after we traveled and came back with the global media engagement, and then the NSA went and then engaged with the U.S. government, now led to the continuous sharing of intelligence with a view to dealing with this.
If we paid $4.5 million or $9 million for lobbies, why was our name on that list that Donald Trump released for countries that our visas, it feels that many Nigerians will not be able to travel to the United States?
So, the thing about lobbying is that just because I engage you as a lobbyist does not mean tomorrow morning you will see all of the results.
It takes time.
It's an ongoing conversation, because if you recall, when the congressmen had the series of meetings that they've had with different stakeholders, they made their recommendation to Donald Trump. You need to deconstruct areas that you think is not suitable to your country. So that means the lobbyists are engaging the congressmen, who are primarily the lawmakers.
So is it possible that at some point we'll see ourselves out of that?
All of it will be out. All of it will be dealt with. Not even some.
Let's go on a short break. When we come back from that break, we'll be looking at local issues, the situation in Kajuru, and of course, politics, which is in high gear this year. So please, stay with us on Hard Copy. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Hard Copy right here on Channels Television. If you've just joined us, Mr. Daniel Bwala is with us this evening. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
All right, so let's go to Kajuru. And many Nigerians are very, very upset about this. And it's not because this is the first time this has happened. Not too long ago, I think last week, there were these brothers that were killed in a fire incident. And the initial reports that we got from Lagos State government was that there was nothing. No one had died. Only for us to hear that these two boys... So we're still reeling from the fact that you said nothing happened, but something happened there. While that is going on, we now started hearing this situation about in Kajuru. And in Kajuru, you know, most of us that grew up in Kaduna, we know that Kajuru is a very remote place. There's hardly any security presence there. You hardly find... infrastructure in Kajuru is very poor. Now we're hearing about a kidnapping that happened in Kajuru. And the first thing that happened was local government chairman in Kaduna, the police. They said, no, everyone has to... People have to stop telling these lies. Stop telling these lies. Nothing of the sort happened, only for us to now hear after Mr. Bwala. 177 people, some people escaped. And so we're now wondering, was saving face more important than saving lives?
That may be wrong. If incident occur and you say no incident is wrong, you cannot. And I think that the best approach to say an incident has occurred, because that word incident is broad.
So it was wrong, and I'm getting this from the presidency. It was wrong for them to deny it before verifying.
Yes, any information at all that you deny before verifying is wrong. That's not the approach in communication. You see, communication is strategy. Any information that is not available for you, available to you, the first thing to do is not to deny. You have to leave your options open. You have to say, I'm just giving you probably the media people to understand the nuances of governance, because you have to speak to Nigerians. But then how you speak to Nigeria depends on whether you have the communication skill, right? There's an incident. Yes, an incident we are hearing it occurred. I saw it in the social paper, or you are just letting me know. Oh, fine. We will find out, and then we'll come back to you or the Nigerian people about the outcome. But when the denial is first before finding out, you are giving a negative impression, right, on yourself and the organization you represent.
So let's talk politics as we wrap up. So we had the APC chairman on this program. First interview of the year. And he says, no, the leader of the party in any state is the governor. If the governor belongs to the APC, then that governor is the leader of the party in the state. That's what Professor Yowada said to us at the beginning of this year.
Yeah.
And then after that, we started seeing what was happening with Minister Wike and Governor Fubara, and then impeachment proceedings started. And then a court is doing this, and then we're here. It's all over the place. What does the presidency stand? You stand with the APC?
The president.
What does the president see?
Yeah.
And the president himself?
So the president is a product of a political party. You cannot become a president in Nigeria unless you are sponsored by a political party. Thankfully, the political party that the president won the election on is a party he helped to build. So he's not like he's not emergency candidate like Peter Obi, looking for platform but never having to stay.
Every Eke market day.
every Eke market day. So, the president understands party structure. He has always emphasized respect for party leadership and structure. The party is the one that speaks on behalf of the ideology for which it canvass. And in APC, I don't know of other political party, In APC that I know, governors in states are the leaders of the party in the state, right? Like Lagos State now, where President Bola Tinubu comes from, he is a father to the governor. The governor is one of the many prodigies. But the Lagos State governor is the leader of APC in Lagos State. The president is the leader of the party in Nigeria, right? So, and we don't have an exception to the rule. In APC, the standards practices, it applies to everybody. So, yes, to answer your question, I agree with the point highlighted by the national chairman that in Rivers State, Governor Fubara is the leader of APC party in Rivers State. Now, you made mention of Wike. Wike is not a member of APC, so he can't speak for APC. I don't know whether I get the point. He may be the leader of PDP in Rivers State because he was a former governor and they don't have a governor at the moment. But in APC, the leader of the party in Rivers State is Governor Fubara.
This impasse, people have this impasse between Wike and Fubara. Many people are asking President Bola Tinubu to wade in again. And I remember in the conversation, we're like, the president waded in. There was a state of emergency. Someone else was in government trying to settle this matter. They hugged. It was a very strange reconciliation, though, because, you know, when you're hugging someone and your eyes are not smiling, we can tell that this, you've not really settled what this is. But we thought, okay, the adults have spoken. And when the adults in the room are in the conversation, the younger ones, you have to be calm, you know. So we figured, okay, the adults had spoken. But then we're seeing this happen again. And then impeachment proceedings against the governor. Should the president weigh in on this again?
Somebody, they had a dinner in which the wife put too much salt and the husband was complaining. He said, President Tinubu should weigh in. So that's how Nigeria is now. Somebody drove and then they overtake and another person stopped. The president has the truth. I think we are running a monarchical government. You know, president believe in the rule of law and a rule-based practice, right? With respect to the party affairs, what the national chairman said is the position president sticks to because he respects party procedure.
Wike is afraid that he's going to be used and dumped. Or at least some people say
that
Wike may be used and dumped by this government. And he has done quite a lot for this administration.
I don't think it will lie. You say he has done a lot in the administration. So also he was given that privilege a lot in that administration. I mean, we have had people who complain that as a cabinet member, Wike enjoyed more benefit than anything. You know, when you leave a treasury single account.
He delivered more than most.
If they are given the resources that he has and unfettered access, they will do more. So Wike has been adequately compensated. You see, the president believes in compensating people. Compensating people not at the expense of the interest of Nigeria. You know, you have to understand President Bola Tinubu. He will give you latitude. He will give you privilege, but not at the expense of what is the right thing to do. Now, when you cross that line, nobody will tell you, you will know. So the matter between Wike and Fubara is already handled. Handled in the sense that you ask the question, who is the leader of the party? In this case, we say is the governor. If you want the president to travel to Rivers and then carry a microphone and say it's the governor.
No, to sort out the impeachment, you know, maybe.
No, for the impeachment procedure is consistent with the practice of law, right?
Okay.
And the requirement. And then the governor will deal with it. There have been orders of court that stop the impeachment, right? The party is clear. Nobody should stop Fubara from governing the state. And that one should be clear to everybody, that the party sticks with the leaders of the party in their respective state. Okay. In fact, the president even respects the right of a state in which a PDP governor is a governor. And maybe somebody, APC, wants to disturb him. He believes that the governor should be allowed to govern the state. Okay. That is his disposition. That's his approach.
Julius Abure says he's going to appeal this judgment from the Federal High Court. If the Labour Party gives that ticket, if somehow Peter Obi comes back to the Labour Party...
Don't call if.
What do you mean don't call if? He's in ADC right now.
No, he's in the valley of decision. Let me tell you this. the Labour Party is giving the ticket to Dati. So Peter Obi doesn't stand a chance of getting...
No, if he doesn't get the ticket in the ADC and Atiku gets that ticket...
He will never get the ticket...
He may have to come back to the Labour Party.
He will never get the ticket in ADC.
Okay, so he might come back to the Labour Party, and my point was, if he comes back to the Labour Party, and Dati, who you said you're going to give it to, acquiesce to his former principal, says, Labour, he comes back, gets the ticket from Labour Party, and runs. Is the Tinubu administration ready for Peter Obi 2.0?
No, Peter Obi is not going anywhere. Even our governor in Lagos is better than Peter Obi. But what I'm saying is, if you look at the last press statement by the Labour, by Dati, does it sound like somebody that will be willing to have Peter Obi return?
If you follow through.
No, I'm just saying. Now, if you talk of Peter Obi, you see, I am actually sometimes saddened by the fact that because our politics permit anybody who say, I want to be president to be in the news, that they always bring Peter Obi when they bring Asiwaju. It is disservice to Asiwaju. You look at the generation of governors Asiwaju trained, all of them did better than Peter Obi. Fashola did better than Peter Obi, the stats are there.
So you're not scared of
Ambode did better than Peter Obi, the stats are there. Sanwo-Olu did better than... If Sanwo-Olu comes out to run for president against Peter Obi, he'll beat Peter Obi. So whenever they bring him in the same conversation with Asiwaju, because in the press we have to answer, but when we're answering sometimes, what are they fall our hand? No? Peter Obi does not have anywhere to go at the moment.
Teller? How can you tell the future?
So let me tell you the things I said that happened. I am a Nostradamus in politics. I told you that Peter Obi was going to leave the Labour Party. When I said it, the obedient were shouting heaven and earth. He left them. I told him he's going to try to go to ADC because they set a trap and give him the impression he will become vice president. When he came close, he discovered that that also is not vacant. And he was negotiating. People say, no. Then later, Peter Obi now admitted, I am in talks with Labour Party, whatever is good will go. This is the same person that is saying structure of criminality. He went right into that structure. Then he now said, no, I'm Labour Party, when he realized he was not going to get vice presidential ticket. They've since moved on. Somebody is packaging Peter Obi with Kwankwaso. And it is not going to be in ADC.
We do have to wrap it up there, but I want to thank you so much.
But before you thank me, Peter Obi will not even get the vote he got in 2023 in case somebody is in fantasy. He got that ticket of 2023 was not Peter Obi. It was a movement that was reacting against the Muslim ticket. These same demographics have since learned that Asiwaju's presidency has done more equitable things to that demographic. Is he going to change it?
Is he going to do? Is he going to change his vice?
No, what I'm saying
is that it's the same Muslim ticket unless he changes his
but
vice.
What I'm saying, the governance, because the fear at that time was that if Asiwaju become president, the Muslim ticket is going to ostracize the Christian community and their interests. Now, Asiwaju proved them wrong and has shown by his leadership skill that, in fact, it's not about any religion. Just be smart, be nice, you will succeed in what I'm doing. Now, this is what they see. They say the one way you see, pass the one way you don't see. Peter Obi has never been tested. The last time he governed was in where? In Anambra. His special advisor on security matter was a madman. And that person advised him on things that now have transcended into so many misfortune for him. Since 2023, why are you people not asking him about the gains of Peter Obi? All lawmakers and people that got election under his platform, they've all abandoned him. You cannot see him with Valentine Ozigbo. You cannot see him with Kim. The people that package him are not there. I don't know why the media continue to push Peter Obi as a something to sell when evidence showed that he's a bad marketer and he's a bad seller. How can you have a shop in which the capital has been depleted, in which there is no investment in anywhere, in which there is no savings in the bank? Everything has been, and you are still saying, I'm a businessman in OP Weka Road, a madman is my advisor. It can never work like that.
Okay. Well, we do have to thank you, Mr. Daniel Bwala, for making out the time to be with us.
My pleasure. My pleasure as always.
But we do have to thank you again for making out the time to be with us on the hard copy. I know you have a lot of meetings to get to, but good luck.